Hi, I'm Kim. Welcome to my channel. Thanks for stopping by and coming and having a chat with me. So, I've just done my makeup and I really quite like it. I think it's a bit of a vibe. I'm liking my blush and my highlighter. But anyway, I was just thinking about kind of makeup and hair and fashion and what that means to me as a Black woman. You know, I see a lot of discourse online and it's like, oh, wear your natural hair, be natural, don't wear too much makeup, la da 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 da, right? And that can be coming from all different types of women, right? Those women who are like, yeah, well, I don't wear wigs, or I don't do this, or I don't do that, right? White women, Black women, Latino women, whoever, right? There's like two sides. One side thinks, yeah, let's do it. The other side thinks, let's not. Now, let's be honest, this topic is far too nuanced to cover in just one video. Uh, but that's exactly it. I want to speak about the nuance of why it is that many of us Black women enjoy makeup, enjoy doing our hair, enjoy getting our nails done, things of that nature, and how it differs when compared with white women, okay, who don't always understand it, who often judge it or envy it, judge and envy rather than or envy, because that judgment is coming from envy. Let's just be real about it. But really, how they are not taking into account the intersectional lens of beauty and femininity and how that shows up for Black women, right? Black women, for the longest time, have been the most underrepresented women within media, right? We've never been uplifted in the way that white women have within media until recent times. And even then, there's nuance, okay? So there's a lot of sexualization of Black women. And I'm starting to realize how that actually impacts Black women in the real ordinary world in terms of how people react to you, how they speak to you, how they treat you, how they avoid you, how they don't interact with you. You know, this kind of fetishization of Black women that happens within media now, you know, just think, I have a love-hate relationship with it all. Like, I never know what is truly right, what is truly wrong. All I hope is that when I think of these artists that we have out here today, you know, and many of them I love, like, but when I think of them, all I hope is that they are doing what they want to do. For me, that's the most important thing. What they're wearing, what they're singing about, what they're rapping about, all of that. Like, if it's what they want, cool, I'm good with that. But if it's something that's being forced upon them, as some of them have actually come out and kind of alluded to, well, then no, that's never going to be okay, because you're just trying to put us in a box here. You want us to only be seen as one thing, you know, as an object, right? An object to be desired, an object to be fetishized, but never someone to love, never someone to respect, never someone to take seriously, right? So when it comes to that kind of thing, I don't usually sit on the fence about many things, but I do sit somewhere on the fence with that one, because, you know, I'm all for sexual liberation. I'm all for loving yourself, loving your body. And I feel, again, there is a nuanced lens with which we hardly ever speak about this stuff and what all of this means for us as Black women. You know, we are so often looking at ourselves through the lens of patriarchy and white women and what white women do. We are not white women. We don't do what they do. We've never done what they do. We've never had the luxury of doing what they do. So whilst their feminism looks like, oh, stop doing this, don't do that, for the male gaze, that's for the male gaze, That's never been our experience, okay? When we're thinking colonialism, when we're thinking transatlantic slavery, we never had the opportunity to be soft and feminine and to do our makeup and to do our hair and to lean into ourselves and make ourselves feel good, right? So, whilst maybe they were raised to look at makeup and hair and all of these things as a way to attract men, so they think that that's what it is for us. It's entirely different. It is an entirely different thing for us. Similar to this idea of wanting to go out into the workplace and I'm the patriarchy. I want to be able to have my career, etc., etc. Again, I'm like in a completely different space. Like I have a career. I love what I'm doing, but I also love being a mother. I love my children. I love having the opportunity to raise my children, to teach my children, to spend time with my children. I love those moments with them. And you'll see where all of this stuff gets so disentangled. But the thing is, there's difference, there's intersectionality, and we can't confuse our experience with their experience. It's two different things, right? This idea of, we wanted to get into the workplace. That was feminism. That was, we're taking down the patriarchy. We're getting into the workplace. Black women have always been working. We have been working for free, right? Our experience is different. I'm in my resting phase. I want to rest. I'm always working. I've always had to work hard. I've always had to work 10 times harder just to be seen. No, I'm not. I don't need to have the most amazing career. No, that's not my desire. I have a career. It is amazing. It's good. I enjoy it, but that's not my everything. It's not all of who I am. I am so many different things. I'm happy to wear several hats. I enjoy that fluidity. I enjoy that creativity. I enjoy that freedom. It feels liberating. Our feminism is completely different. Noir. Think about that. Noir is different. We experience misogyny differently. Our experiences for centuries long has been different. So again, before I go into a whole TED Talk, let's get into makeup and hair, right? We do this stuff for ourselves. We enjoy it. It's nice to be able to take a moment to sit down and just focus on yourself. Learn to love yourself, your features, right? To take that time to really know your face, to beat your face. Like, I'm doing this for me. I enjoy it. Is it nice when you get a compliment? Sure. But am I doing it to get that compliment? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Am I wearing my hair like this to get compliments from men, from women, from anyone? Absolutely not. The best compliments come from women, specifically other gem women. When other gem women notice me and my style or my fashion or what I'm wearing, I had someone come up to me the other day and they were like, I love how your bag is coordinated with your outfit. I hadn't even coordinated my bag with my outfit. It was literally just coincidence. I use that bag every day. And I was like, thank you. Because it really meant something to me, because she showed me it wasn't just a generic compliment. You know what I mean? Like, it meant, like, she really noticed something and she was like, I'm gonna say something to you. And I do the same thing, right? Because I think it's so important to uplift each other. And I just feel like other people from different demographics, they don't always get that. They don't always understand that. Being seen is about seeing yourself, accepting yourself, being true to yourself. That's liberating. It's something entirely different to the way that white women have been conditioned and raised, right? And I think particularly for that demographic who was so used to being so visible, within movie, within TV, within whatever, so used to being uplifted, so used to being the beauty standard, it's triggering if they see somebody else literally living in their truth. And I watched a video actually by this woman that I really like, and she was talking about this, and she was saying, like, this is a problem. Like, we are raised and we're conditioned to tear each other down. We see another woman living in their truth, stepping in their truth, we're told, like, attack her. Who is she? How is she stepping outside of, like, the line? She should be towing the line with the rest of us. She needs to come back here. It's like crab mentality, right? And I just feel like, wow, it just makes everything everything make so much sense. I mean, a lot of it I knew, right? A lot of it I know. But I just feel like it's quite different to how we as Black women, as gem women even sometimes operate. Like, it's the opposite. It's like, yes, I see you over there living in your truth. I see you over there looking amazing, wearing your afro. You have inspired me. You look amazing, you know? Wow, I love that lipstick you're wearing. Oh my goodness. Your hair, it looks great. Whatever it is, whatever it is. Oh my goodness, you did that. Like, I saw you at that talk the other day and you did that. Like, we lift each other up and we're conditioned to do that. And that is all entangled within history and our context. Our context as Black women is completely different. So don't live by the standards of a certain demographic. Don't allow people to shame you and judge you, right? Black women for generations have taught their children, have taught their daughters, we need to look a certain way. We need to be clean. We need to make sure that we are dressed well. We need to make sure that our clothes are pressed. We need to make sure that we're moisturized. All of these things, right? And that comes from something very specific, okay? It comes from dehumanization for years, for centuries, for generations, right? Only being treated as human. If you look a certain way, if you speak a certain way, right? This is where this comes from. This is not just about vanity. It's about survival. It's about being given opportunity. And sometimes this is the only way that we have been able to gain opportunity, is sometimes the only way that we've been able to be seen as human beings, to be treated as human, right? This idea of pretty privilege. It works differently for us. It's not the same thing, right? And we have to remind ourselves that, especially when we're shaming each other. I hear so much discourse about natural hair versus weaves versus, and there's never any compassion. There's never any understanding, right? And the women who wear wigs, I wear wigs sometimes, like, there's never any understanding as to the why, right? So there's like shaming from the girls who wear natural hair, shaming the natural haired girls for wearing their hair natural. And there's never any understanding about how did we get here? How did we get here in the first place? Why do we not feel like our hair is professional? Why do we not feel like our hair is beautiful? Why do we not feel like our hair is suitable? There is a reason for all of this. But we continue to take jabs at each other and judge each other with like zero compassion. And again, it's because we're looking at it through the other lens, the lens that is not our own, right? Even for those people who wear wigs and lace fronts, who are like, I do this because I want to do. Sometimes I'm like, you know what? Where's the insight? Because there is a reason, there is an underlying reason. And yes, I love to switch it up too. As I say, I wear them, right? I do it all. But my point is, there is an underlying reason. And it doesn't matter if we love it and we're creative people and we love to switch up our style. Specifically, those of us who struggle to ever show our natural hair, like there's an underlying reason. And that's not our shame to hold, right? And it's not something we should be shamed about, right? We didn't create this. We just live in it, right? But yeah, I just think we so often use other people as the standard of how we should think and live our lives and feel about working or not working, being a working mother, resting, makeup, hair, how we choose to present ourselves in this world. White women present themselves in a completely different way to what we do, right? And that is okay. We don't need to be in that lane. We are not in that lane. We're different. And we have a completely different context. And that is okay. And I see more and more younger white women who are, influenced or inspired by the culture, and they're stepping outside of that. I have to be, I have to put my head down. I can't change my hair. I can't wear makeup. I can't wear this bright color, and realizing that what is that? Because that's patriarchy, right? The idea is not, oh, take up all your makeup and dress in a suit because that means that you are a real woman because you don't care about men. That's BS. Men will be attracted to women regardless. It doesn't matter what you're wearing. It doesn't matter if you have makeup on. It doesn't matter if your hair is in a certain style. Literally, like, none of that is what makes a man attracted or unattracted to a woman. Yes, obviously people have preferences of styles and things like that, but what I'm saying is, by not stepping into your own creativity, your own femininity, or your version of what that is not protecting you from the male gaze, for example. That is not making you a better woman than the next woman who decides that she wants to wear fake lashes or, I don't know, get fillers, whatever it is. Like, but it's also, it has racial context. White women have been able to sit pretty and do that for centuries and years. They have made a choice that that's not what they want to do anymore. They want to be out in the workforce. They want to be seen as more than just sitting pretty, delicate wallflower, and good for them. That is their right. That is their initiative. But what is not their right is to judge other women who do the entire opposite. And especially not without acknowledging the difference in context. Black women were not able to sit pretty. We were not able to get the products that matched our skin, right? We were working. We've been working. So now we want to sit in our femininity. Now we want to explore ourselves. Now we want to rest. Now we want to actually sit home and raise our babies. It's a different context entirely, right? Entirely. And it goes so far, so wide. And I've been thinking about this because, again, I'm kind of like very much token in any scenario, situation that I am in life. I am generally one of very few or the only, right? So, and I sometimes, I'm in these conversations and I think, yeah, but it's different for you. You don't understand, right? And you're privileged to not have to understand it from my perspective, right? Being able to be at home and raise my kids, both from a financial, spiritual, every perspective, for me it's a blessing. And this is not about not wanting to do work. I love working, but it's about doing work that serves me, serves my family, doesn't leave me drained with no energy left to give. It's about being flexible, having flexibility, doing what I love to do, right? But also being able to pour into my family, right? At the same time, into my husband, into my children. Not, oh, I have to have a career and I have to be driven to this career and I've got to get to the top of the mountain. There's nothing wrong with wanting to get to the top of the mountain. And I'm not saying that I would never want to, but what I'm saying is when I think about the stage of life that I'm in right now with my small children, the top of the mountain can wait, right? I want to get to the top of this mountain with my babies. I want to break generational curses, you know? My relationship with my mother is non-existent. My husband's relationship with his mother is non-existent. And so on and so forth, up the generations. I'm trying to pour into my babies. I'm trying to make sure that we don't repeat those cycles. You know, I enjoy spending time with them. I enjoy doing things with them. Some people feel the opposite, and that's okay. But your context is different to mine. Your context is different. You know? And I'm not saying, oh, I never want to break, I never want to get away, I never. Obviously, parenting is hard. Parenting young ones is hard. You know, it's a lot. It takes a lot of energy, right? Going to work, yeah, sometimes, I mean, I don't feel like it's a break, but it's different, you know? You can step into a different mindset, and that's nice to do that sometimes. I have no qualms with it. But I also don't understand when people don't understand the other thing. It's like I remember reading this thing about how westernized perspectives were being placed on kind of people kind of from the African diaspora, you know, any Muslim countries, things like that, right? This idea of, oh my goodness, the oppressed woman, the submissive woman who has to stay at home and doesn't have anything outside of being a wife and being a mother at home. And it's so funny because I thought of myself as so westernized, right? And I realized, no, I have that same perspective because actually it's true. We push that onto people and say, oh goodness, poor you. Don't you ever want to go to work? Don't you ever want to go to work? If people are actually honest with themselves, right? Unless you are doing absolutely the absolute job that you love, your purpose. Work is work, right? And there, with work comes stress, just like anything else, right? You can love your job and still feel stressed in your job, right? You can love your job and still be under pressure in your job. It's okay to not be getting everything right at work and be this career woman. Like, it's okay to say, you know what, I'm finding juggling a little bit hard. I'm finding it difficult, you know? That's okay. It is difficult. It's not easy to switch off and switch context. Mom, wife, whatever it is you do in your role. It's not easy. And that's okay. I feel like we're told that we have to choose one or we can have it all and all of these different things. And the fact of the matter is, specifically my personal experience whilst having small children, you can't have it all without feeling like you're failing somewhere, right? And I've gotten to a point where I had to decide, like, what am I willing to prioritize now? What do I want to prioritize? And at the end of the day, that's my kids. Jobs come and go. Jobs can let you go. And yet we put so much of ourselves into these jobs, right? Sometimes for very little return, right? Very little return on the investment of the amount of energy, time, worry, stress that we put into these jobs, right? Sometimes for very little financial compensation when compared with the energy and time that we put into these jobs, or to the energy that we lose, right? And I just think that so much of this has context that we don't think about. You know, I keep seeing this thing about like Black women are resting. We are resting. We're in our resting phase and we have earned it. We deserve to be. So don't let anybody, just because they want to go and be working and be in their whatever energy, you go do that. You go do you. I get it. Your people haven't been working for very long in the grand scheme of things, right? We have. And we feel that collectively within our bodies. The body keeps the score. It is there in us. We're tired. We are tired and ready to hang up our boots, and that is okay. Don't let anyone shame you for it. And this is not about not wanting to work. This is about wanting to do what feels true to you. It's about liberation. It's about doing the things that matter. It's about whatever you're doing benefiting you, not the masses, not people benefiting off of your labor. And you get very little credit for that. Very little recognition, very little acknowledgement, very little compensation. In fact, you might get quite the opposite of that. You know? You get highly scrutinized, highly criticized, monitored, surveilled. Even when you consistently show people what you are capable of and what you can do, what you know, your professionalism. So while some demographics of women are running towards that, others of us are quite naturally so doing the opposite. In fact, I think all women are reaching this decision, this collective idea. I read an article the other day that said something about women leaving the workforce and how, you know, this is around caring responsibilities, you know, the workplace not being conducive to motherhood, etc., etc., etc. Equally, you'll read headlines like, you know, less babies are being born, all of those things. And we're not going to get into all of that today. That's for another video. But the thing is, we're tired. I know I'm tired. I know many of my sisters are tired. I've seen the videos, okay? I've heard it. But that's okay. It's okay. Don't let anyone shame you for it. We work hard enough. We've always worked hard. Okay? There are so many differences, right? People will say, why do you make everything about race? Oh, everything's not about race. It is. Any situation, scenario, you will find a racial context. Okay? It is. Don't be gaslit. Do not be gaslit. People don't want you to understand the impact of history. They want to minimize it. It's within that only works in their favor to minimize it. It doesn't work in your favor to minimize history, to minimize the impacts of history. It shows up in absolutely every single thing that we do. And we don't want to feel that way because we want to feel like we are free. But we can only be free when we truly acknowledge these things, when we really see how the past has constructed society and how it has constructed the culture in which we live in, right? How it has constructed how people see us, how people view us, how people judge us, right? Because once you see that, you start to realize this isn't about you. This isn't about me, right? That is their own small mind. That's their ignorance. That's their anti-blackness. Whatever it is, it has nothing to do with you. Okay, so just keep doing you, right? Whatever that looks like. Do you without apology. Whether that's hair, makeup, outfit choices, whether that's jobs, working a job, not working a job, looking after your kids, home educating your children, all of these things, it all has a racial context. I want to home educate my children. The people around me don't understand that. I was home educated. But they wouldn't understand why I wouldn't want my children to be taught in a system that has been proven time and time again to be racist. In a system that doesn't uplift them, in a system that does not teach them history, real history, in a system that uplifts some of the main antagonists and villains within history. Why would I want my children to be raised in that system that already thinks that they are less than, that already treats them as if they are nothing? And I say this every day. I see this every day. And the more I see, the more I say, not for my children. My children are going to grow up knowing who they are, knowing their power, right? And this goes on all levels. It's not just about Black and brown children, multiracial children. It's not just about GEM children. It's about any child who doesn't quite fit in that box, in that mold of mainstream school, right? Who is being forced to fit in that box, who is being told from a very, very young age that there is something fundamentally wrong with them, all because they're not doing these strange things that we require of small children to do well before they're able to even do that. And if some children are able to do that, good for those children, but also consider why, right? This stuff starts from nursery onwards. They're trained into these little soldiers that sit down and sit still and be quiet and all the rest of it, right? These are children we're talking about. They should be outside playing. They should be being creative. We suck all the creativity out of them, right? I see older adult Black students every single day who do not know who they are, who do not know how to question the system because they have been raised in that system that has told them consistently who they are. They don't know how to value themselves. They know something is not quite right, but they cannot articulate what is wrong. And that's because they've never been taught to. They've never been taught to. They feel that it's wrong. They know that something's wrong. They know that something isn't right. To put a name on it, outwardly, much more difficult. Much more difficult. Because they've been gaslit. For years and years of schooling, they have been gaslit and told that they are the problem, that they don't know enough, that they're not doing enough, that they are not applying themselves enough. That doesn't just disappear. That follows them into university, into the career market, into the job market, right? Everything has racial context. Everything. Don't let people tell you it doesn't. Because when you understand how it does, no one can shame you for putting your makeup on. You're not going to shame me because I decided to put makeup on and make myself feel good today. You're not going to shame me because I can actually now finally afford to buy something that makes me feel good. Right? That's your privilege talking. Maybe you've always been in that position. You're not going to shame me because I don't know how to drive. There's a reason why I don't drive. It's my prerogative. What I prioritize is my choice. I prioritize many other things. So not being able to do that one thing, I don't lose sleep over that. That's all I'm saying. Right? The things I prioritized are the things that are going to make a real difference in my life. Right? That have made real difference in my life. You've been fortunate enough to be able to prioritize that, to be able to afford that, to be able to have time to focus on that. Good for you. Understand everybody has a different context. Whilst you were paying for that, I was paying for something else. Right? Something that I had to prioritize, something that I need, something that unfortunately I had no choice but to pay for. Same goes when it comes to houses. Do you own your house? Do you not own your house? Do you rent? Oh, yeah, we own our house. Yeah, we have our mortgage. Okay, good for you. Understand, not everyone is starting from the same place. You know that picture of that box? It's like people are standing on, one person's shoulder and they're standing on it. They can't see over the fence. The next person's a little bit taller. They can't see over the fence. And it was like, equality doesn't exist because no one is starting from the same place. It's equity that we're trying to achieve. We want to give everybody a level playing field. All right? People don't have a level playing field. So the things that are important to you, that you have prioritized, other people have had to prioritize other things. Sometimes survival. So when you're judging and you're thinking, well, why haven't you done that? Understand, likelihood is because I was prioritizing something else, something conducive to survival. Don't let other people put you up alongside them. You are not in the same lane. You'll never be in the same lane. That's your unique context. So be who you are, proudly, boldly, and without apology. Because that's what I'm doing from now on. All right. Thanks for stopping by. See you in the next video.